Hey guys, it's Libby, and it is still fall until December 22nd, so this counts as my fall book haul. And stay tuned because at the end of the video I will be doing a giveaway. What? Free book. So the first book that I acquired this season is quite a chunker. It is a biography of Thomas Hardy called Hardy by Martin Seymour Smith. Those of you who have watched my previous hauls will know that I am known to my mom's friends as the girl who is really into Thomas Hardy, so this was a present from one of them, and he wrote in it, he left me a note saying, Libby, if this is not the definitive biography, then perhaps you can write one. Thanks, John Keith. This does mean that all of the nonfiction I own is no longer only about the Brontes, but still all of the nonfiction that I own is about Victorian authors. Thomas Hardy, if you don't know, wrote Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Far from the Madding Crowd, Jude the Obscure, Return of the Native, bunch of good stuff. I will of course read the first sentence to you as I do with all the books I haul. Chapter 1, Family and Boyhood. At 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, 2nd June 1840, the infant who was to become known throughout the world as Thomas Hardy was cast aside as dead by the doctor who delivered him. I didn't know that. The next book that I got is one that I picked up at my local used bookstore, and it is Sula by Toni Morrison. A couple of months ago I enjoyed is not the right word, but I was glad that I read God Help the Child by Toni Morrison. This is one of her earlier books. And it's set in like the 20s or the 30s. It's about two black women, Nell and Sula. They live in a small town, and I think that they're friends, presumably they're friends. And then when Nell grows up, she lives a sort of conventional life, marriage, kids, PTA meetings, and then Sula goes to the city and goes to college and has sex with men, and it's just about their lives. And I think Sula comes back and they meet up and reevaluate how things have gone for them and for each other. The first sentence is, in that place where they tore the nightshade and blackberry patches from their roots to make room for the Medallion City golf course, there was once a neighborhood. Then let's move on to the books that I ordered from Book Outlet during their Black Friday sale. The first one is not orange, unlike the rest of them. So the first one is Wolf in White Van by John Darnielle. Sorry, it's really, there you go. Now you can see it. And it's actually like a lot smaller than I thought it would be. It's about 200 pages. Have books been getting longer? I feel like it's unusual to find a book this short. But this is about a man named, oh gosh, is it Steve? Sean, who has a facial disfigurement from an accident he had as a child, I think. And he doesn't really want to go out and be among people. But what he does do is he invents a role-playing game which you play by sending letters through the mail to him. So it's a sort of it's a snail mail Dungeons and Dragons. And then something goes wrong with two of the people who are playing his game, and Sean has to deal with it. The synopsis was very vague. But the interesting thing about this book is that I believe it is told backwards, like the Seinfeld episode. The first sentence is, my father used to carry me down the hall to my room after I came home from the hospital. Next we have the fifth and last book in the Fairyland series by Catherine and Valente. This is The Girl Who Raced Fairyland All the Way Home. I now own all four of these, so I'm due for a binge. The first sentence is, it's going to be a long one, I can tell you from the previous books. Once upon a time, a country called Fairyland grew very tired indeed of people squabbling over it, of polishing up the glitter on the same magic and wonder and dashing dangers each morning, of drifting along prettily through the same perverse and perilous sea, of playing with the same old tyrants and brave heroes every century. The next one is one that I've actually already read. I listened to the audiobook, and that is Under Majordomo Minor by Patrick DeWitt. I liked it enough in audiobook form that when it was on sale on Book Outlet for like $3, I decided that I would acquire a physical copy. This is kind of a gothic parody, I guess. It's about a young man named Lucian who leaves his small town and goes to a castle where he works as the under Majordomo. And everything is very weird. I will leave a link to my review of it, where I was not much more coherent than I am right now. But first sentence. Lucian Minor's mother had not wept, had not come close to weeping at their parting. And then the next one is one that has been talked about on BookTube by Elizabeth from Books and Pieces and Rachel from Kalanati, and probably some other people. This is Among Others by Jo Walton. The synopsis is a bit vague, but what I can gather is that it's about a young girl teenager named Morwenna who grows up in Wales amongst sort of fairies and magicness. And then her mother does a big bad thing and her twin sister dies, and Morwenna goes to school in England where they are anti-magic. And she presumably does magic anyway. The vibe that I get is that it's like a light fantasy. It's not an epic fantasy. But the first sentence is, it has some words in it, guys. I'm gonna do my best, but I will write out how you spell these. The Furnacite factory in Abercumboy killed all of the trees for 2 miles around. And then the last one that I got from Book Outlet is also completing a series. It is Unmade, the last book in the Lynburn Legacy by Sarah Rees Brennan. I haven't started reading the first two, but I have read a short story by Sarah Rees Brennan, which was so good. Our heroine, Cammy, has an imaginary friend who she's like based off of this person who might live in the Lynburn house, which is the big abandoned house outside of her town. And then one day it turns out that he is real. Drama ensues. Okay, let me just check the first sentence to make sure it's not a spoiler. But okay, I'm pretty sure it's not. Cammy Glass was standing too close to the fire. We have now come to the last three. These are books that I got when I was at YALLFest. The first one is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. I had read Salt to the Sea, which is like, it's a companion novel, I guess, to this. This was written first, and it just sounded so sad that I did not want to read it. But, you know, I was at YALLFest. This was $10. I was going to be able to get it signed. I decided, okay, I will spend the $10 and then I will have it if I ever want to read it. But this is about a girl named Lena who, she is Lithuanian, and she and some number of her family members are taken to like work camps in Siberia during the Second World War. The first sentence is, they took me in my nightgown. I am heartened by the fact that she said at YALLFest that the first draft that her editor saw, the editor said, this is just way too hopeless. You have to make this less miserable. And she did, and found that it was better for it. So at least this is not like as sad as it could have been. Then I picked up Gemma, the second book in the Illuminate files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. They signed it for me, and Jay at the top wrote, for Libby, he wrote, take your shot. But since he had written this phrase approximately 10,000 times that day, it really looks like it says, take your snot on it. I will do that. I will take my snot. I don't think I've even actually read the synopsis of this, but based on Illuminate, crazy space adventures and non-traditional, that looks pretty traditional, but other parts, non-traditional narrative formats. Okay, first sentence. Hopefully it's not like a graph. Okay, this is like a memo. United Terran Authority, UTA Tribunal Transcript, Carenza Trials, Day 82. Chief oh god, this is so long. Okay, then there's a really long heading. Frobisher, L. Over 700,000 employees across dozens of colonized worlds. And then the last book does not belong to me. It belongs to one of you. This is Illuminate, the first book in the Illuminate files. I picked it up kind of accidentally. My mom and I accidentally bought one too many because we were by anyway. We have an extra copy of Illuminate that we got signed by Amy and Jay. And since I already have my own copy, if you would like this to be yours, leave a comment mentioning something about Illuminate, because I know that a lot of people already have this, so I want them to be able to leave comments without accidentally being entered to get a second copy. I will leave this giveaway open for 2 weeks, and since I don't know when I'm going to upload this, I can't tell you when 2 weeks from the upload date will be, but I will write it here. Good luck, and I hope you all have a lovely last few days of fall.